This is the John Brown Alliance, where we don't fear, we fight. We are old school, unscripted, and we understand the assignment. They say that the last March on Washington by the Ku Klux Klan happened in the year 1990. I beg to differ. This might have been the last documented and permitted march on Washington. However, I was at two of the final marches there. Now, I have explained to folks here before that this is not my first rodeo, and a movement is a movement, and it does not gain momentum by pretending to be concerned. It does not happen by social media alone. It does not happen on any particular front. Now, back then, I was working with the Native American Indian Inmate Support Project, aka AIM, over here in the East, in some parts. And I was married at the time. So I know that this did not happen in 1990, but in 1994, at least, because that's the year I got married. However, I had moved at that time from Wyoming Avenue in Washington, D.C., otherwise known back then as Adams Morgan, to the Sticks. And I remember watching the Ku Klux Klan march down Pennsylvania Avenue, and I turned to my father and asked him, why is this happening right now? And he told me that it was due to freedom of speech. And I'm saying, Dad, this is crazy. I mean, basically, they're advocating for the extermination of anything that isn't white and Christian. And he told me that the First Amendment right allows for freedom of speech, but it does not allow for you to be exempt from the consequences. So I waited, and I planned, and I organized. And 1 year after that, a bunch of us went down to Pennsylvania Avenue. The Ku Klux Klan, their numbers were a little bit more than we had. So we just, made a bunch of ruckus and this kind of stuff. And they were like, and it was mostly black people out there. But we didn't give up. So the second year we came back, I don't know, it was sometime in the mid-90s now. And we came full force. Now, the first year we came out there, they rocked the bus. And the Ku Klux Klan left. So enough people were there to almost overturn the bus. The second year we went there, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I had a backpack on, and so did everybody on the metro. There. I got off the metro, and the first thing I saw was a Metropolitan Police officer from Washington, D.C. And I asked him, with my red shirt on, where's the Klan at? And he pointed. That's all he did. And he stayed where he was at. So I went down there, followed the crowd. We got out on the street. And we not only accosted that bus, but people wouldn't get out. What I later learned was there was a bunch of Metropolitan Police Department employees on the other side of the street that I couldn't see. One of them was my sister. She wasn't responsible for this, but somebody got busted in the head. And if you go through the archives and the newspapers, I think you can find this if you look up those years that happened. He got back on the bus. I guess he was the Grand Wizard or whatever, and he was going to make a statement. But we made it very clear that this was not going to happen in our town anymore. and they left. We were not afraid. We did not go to that place promising a peaceful protest. We didn't do anything like that. We said this is not going to happen here. We weren't prepared or ramped up for any kind of retaliation. All we knew was that we had to be there at this particular time and take care of this particular thing. Now, the last I heard, KKK is allowed to protest in Annapolis, Maryland. So they do have their little, that's their people up there. But they were not going to in a predominantly black city at that time. And it was turning Latino, and it was Jewish, black, and Latino mostly, and Jamaican. That's what it was. They were not going to continue to walk down our streets where we pay taxes and spread hate. And the problem with America today is seeds are allowed to be cultivated on a ground that is sacred to Native Americans. And then hope that it's going to evolve into something good just by happenstance. That's not the way this works. You have to be ready to put your life on the line. And that's why I understand that the easy way out, and I will say that, and I think I have a right to say it, because many people have died so that immigrants, including white people, can enjoy the liberties they enjoy today. Way before Italians, Germans, and other people came here, a man named Crispus Attucks, a black man, was the first man to die in the Revolutionary War. You can Google that. But yet white people sit here and try and tell us how to protest. You have to be able to give all. Now, the battle that is before you is not something that you can go sign a military contract for. That's that man's war. That's Maga's war. If you join the military or police departments right now, or National Guard, you're fighting for your domestic enemy here, right here in the United States. And the only people left here to defend this country is those of us who do not sign a contract with this current administration and do not respect that contract, because it does not respect the United States Constitution. But I digress. We also understood a long time ago, when people take that oath as police officers, as military, and everything else, they do not understand that that oath includes them. If you were a code talker during World War II that helped save this country, you are a domestic enemy. If you are a black man that served in World War I, the Civil War, World War II, Vietnam, or any other war for that matter, you are the domestic enemy. And I understood when my contract was terminated with the Department of Justice, when I was working inside American prisons, federal prisons, on behalf of Native Americans after 9/11, the reason I was given by my AIM leader is that you are acknowledged as a Native American, therefore a domestic enemy. So as soon as 9/11 happened, we could not go into federal prisons and assist federal prisoners who were Native American because of the color of our skin. and where we came from. And that place we came from was what you call America. So do me a huge solid. After generations of my people of all colors dying for your country, if you're not willing to do the same at this point, there's no use talking. There really isn't. Because all this is clickbait. All it is the same boring scenario. And sooner or later, just like it did in Flatbush, New York, that was the beginning. This shit is going to come to a head. And all the niceties and all the political correctness, and we don't want to be associated with this or that, is going to come down the same way it did when we ran the Klan out of Washington, D.C. We don't need you to tell us how to behave. We need you to shit or get off the pot. We need you to man up or don't. Lead, follow, or get the fuck out of the way. Because we have too many people right now flooding the zone with bullshit, when real leaders, like some elected officials, like Jamie Raskin, Anthony Brown, Paul Lance, and others, AOC, they need to be heard. Stop with the clickbait. Sit back, watch the revolution happen, and maybe you'll learn and be able to teach your children. Because the rest of us, we've seen this movie before. Okay, you're very late to the game. We're getting a little bored. So we don't need your permission anymore to do anything. By the time you find out it's done, it's going to be done. Okay? And by any means necessary. But we are not going to be snatched up, beg for our freedom, beg for permission from white people to act a certain way in public. We're not going to do any of that. It's all about the OG right now. It's all about standing up. That's what it's about. So if you can't get down with the get down, I can't help you. And right now, I cannot support you because there are movements gaining momentum that I cannot keep track of. And right now, those are movements that are absolutely positively on all fronts defending this democracy. Legal, in courts, in Congress, on the streets, ground roots, and in secret. And yes, there are secret people doing work whose names you will never know. So let's get with that. Let's get back to the assignment. This is the John Brown Alliance. You have a great Wednesday.